And your blade is designed so the angle, so it cuts at a bevel. So and the knife is held this way.
Wow, that looks like it would be tricky to control.
Right. So I'll pretend this is the positive. So you're going to cut, the second cut is a bevel towards the first cut. So that you have a nice crisp edge in there. That's so you can take your gouge. Remember, this is a positive and this is a negative. So you can fit your gouge back here. And I always work my way back so you're not pushing against. So if you have a hard time, just take smaller bites. Like this. So if you're pushing against a lot of wood. So if you go here, you break the tension off and then it's easier. So you're working your way back. For too many years I did the reverse, right? You're pushing against a lot of wood. This way it's a lot easier working your way back in there.
Less likely to slip too. That's it. Take off too much.
And you kind of do a hook motion on there. Okay, that's a straight line. Now to do a curve, you can
So
do
when
it
you're talking about
clockwise.
positive and negative, like if you were doing the leaf, like this would be where the leaf is, and this is part
should
you're
have
carving
drawn
away would be
something.
the, like the background that you're carving away.
Do we
It's
have
the
a felt
negative
marker?
part.
Yeah.
That it fits deeper in there and doesn't move. So this would be a negative space then, which is a good design. All right, and what is the secret of all cuts?
The secret of all cuts.
What's the secret of all cuts?
Cut yourself.
I don't know.
Oh, okay, I thought I mentioned that. Okay, if you make the first cut deep, the rest of the cuts will follow.
Oh, okay.
If you make it shallow, then the rest of the cuts will follow that. In the Japanese technique, you want to go deeper than the Western technique. Remember, when you add water to wood, it swells up, and then and usually the grain is more open grain in the middle, so that swells up more. So basically, you have to cut deeper than the Western technique, because the Western technique, you're rolling the ink on as well, so it hits only the top surface. In the Japanese technique, you ink in the whole plate. So if that's a black image, you're going to ink the whole plate black. And then it's water-based and the wood swells up. So
Unless
you
there's
have to
a lot
go
of
deeper.
space between your color areas.
Well, you have to land more space between. All right, so the first cut is always is the most important one. If you go deep, then the rest will follow. So let's. I should have drawn a leaf, huh? We'll just make one up here. What's a real typical leaf shape on there?
No such thing as typical.
No such thing? You're a... Well, I won't even put a stem on there, but... Yeah, the ribs get thicker there. Is it every other one like that? Then you have smaller things. I brought some leaves you can look at, or get a contour and idea of them. So the curve is generally pushed in. So you do a curve. Straight line you pull. Curves you will push. That's the first cut, right? Second cut is against the first cut, so you're going to do this. This is flexible. I haven't used this before.
Yeah.
You have used this?
No, just the last workshop. Yeah, those look new. I don't remember those being around here.
Okay, so when you come to a V, a point like that, you want to start shallow. The rule of thumb is when your relief areas are far apart, you go deeper. When they're really close, like that, you start shallow and then you go deep. So you go shallow and deep. And this one, you're going to go shallow and deep. Imagine cutting all those thin hair. Shallow and deep. Now, if you're studying in Japan, you're not allowed to turn your wood.
That's so? You're not allowed to turn your wood?
You know, well, yes, if you're under a real traditional teacher, because then you'll learn to use your knife more diverse. You're not cutting one way, then you learn to use your knife in their various ways. So the Japanese carve this way, right? They carve. So if you have a hard time pushing this,
That looked like I would slice up my
So
arm.
they donate more blood?
well, it's all wrist, because it's a very
And
short
you're kind of
motion
holding
on
it
there.
down with your forearms, huh?
Yeah, this is a little small, though.
Yeah.
If it was larger, then you can
Yeah.
help.
Could use your
But
elbows.
I have one student that's all the way, she cuts always this way, because it's easier for her. She carves this way. Okay, the other way, the Western way of cutting the linear detail is with your V tool. So instead of doing two cuts with your knife, the Western technique then is to carve with the V-shaped tool. You're carving your detail this way. Let's see if I work backwards, it's easier.
Do you normally do the two cut method and then, or do you use the V tool to start out?
I usually use a knife on there. But the same idea, so then you take your gouge, which is the tool that you use the most because you're subtracting negative space, so you'd be using the gouge more. So you'd be and working backwards then. It will go fast. It's amazing. So that's, you want to get down below the second layer. This looks like dogless fur, which is a hard grain where it's dark, soft grain here.
You mean the surface is dug fur?
No, the
Underneath.
interior is dog fur on there. But same idea, I did this with a V-shaped tool, and then you take it away. Now, the best way then is to take out wood here, if you can, that way, and then the last area, because you can turn your gouge this way, and remove closer to the contour that way. It's like looking at your blade at a different angle.
So the reason why the first cut depth designates the depth of all of your carving is so you won't have a channel where the ink will stay, or what really is the...
Well, you're setting the depth of your cut from the very beginning. And it's most important right to where you're positive, where your image is. So once you set your depth, then the rest of the cuts will follow. But to get the very thin line, there's a terrace. There's the line, and then there's a second, your cut, and then deeper than that. So there's more wood holding up the real thin line.
For a thin line.
Yeah, so,
Okay, but I was just wondering why that depth, why you need to have it a uniform depth.
first.
Yeah,
Well, remember, the first cut breaks the tension of the wood, makes the
Yeah.
second cut easier.
yeah,
And once you establish the depth, that deepness, the rest of the cuts will follow.
okay.
So if I go deep, then I'm not sure this is this one works best pushing, I think, because it flex a little. Well, you'll do the best you can with these tools. Oops.
I got 2 of those blades, one for each way.
Oh, yeah?
Pushing or pulling, just because I didn't know.
But in your case, you just be cutting the interior of the leaf. Well, we can do it both ways. Let's do it both ways.
Yeah.
So you can have a positive or negative.
But we would be doing our key block first, right?
Mhm.
So,
And then using Hiroki's blocks for the background.
Okay.
yeah.
So to cut this line, then you're gonna cut it this way. Oops.
So the key block means
That's
That
your,
outline?
yeah.
the
The
outline.
outline.
It's the one that defines the picture.
Okay, so I'm gonna go this way now.
Information.
Like a key.
Yeah.
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 So usually, not always, it's your
From a
darkest block.
perspective of printing,
Mm-hmm.
is there a difference whether your relief there to the line is beveled versus vertical?
It's most important, well, you have a thin line because there's more wood underneath holding that.
So the bevel
So
supports
the,
it.
right. And the bevel has a less chance of collecting ink. If
Oh.
it's a straight, sharp line this way, if you go straight up and down, this is the
Uh-huh.
relief,
Yes.
then the ink collects right there.
Oh, yeah.
So that's, and then when you're printing, it will pick up the ink on there, right? So if the bevel, if that's a bevel, then when you're brushing, you'll be taking that off. So if it's straight up and down, that's where the ink collects. Because the worst thing you can do is an undercut, right? So there's lots of ink, and then it gets weak right there.
I've done that before.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I'm carving on the wrong side of the line.
Thank you. All right. Your knife, or you can use a V-shaped tool right there. And usually when you come to a corner, you're gonna go shallow, lift up, and then go down again. And you go to the apex right at the corner on the inside cut, so it falls off nice and clean. Same thing with this. You're going to go right to the apex there, so it falls off. Now, a circle. No one asked me to cut a circle. That's a hard one.
They're really hard.
They're tricky.
Yes.
How about a donut?
A donut? Oh, yes.
Oh, like those Fabrican.
Well, let's see. Well, actually, a smaller plate is harder to carve, right? Because it
You don't have
moves.
the
Nothing
weight,
to grab.
the stability.
On the big plate, you can clamp it down as well. Yeah, the circle, how do you cut a circle? Well, you're gonna take your knife and you're gonna push, remember? Curve turn the wood around, unless you're in Japan.
Yeah. Well, come on, Faith, you've carved a million circles. You see circles on every single one of your prints.
I don't think I could do it without moving.
And you want to leave your blade on there, right? So that it's a continuous line to
So
get a nice.
don't pick your blade up.
Don't pick your blade up.
Yeah, that makes sense.
If you do, can you go back and fix it, or not really?
Oh, you can, but then it might not be a clean line, right? Unless you start the exact spot again.
Well, sometimes Hiroki will have us, after we have our drawing, paint it like a light blue or add some color, so then you can see where you cut away as white and the rest is blue.
Oh, you can stain your block. You mean
Yeah.
staining your block.
Yeah.
Maybe we should, huh?
Yeah.
Stain our block.
It makes it easier to
Yeah,
tell where you have
just to
cut.
see.
There's some carbon paper there. I just carved this
You know, everything's really pronounced where you cut.
one. And then you can see your carving marks.
Yeah.
And that just
Matter.
washes away then?
Yep, that would just work.
Kind of,
wash
sort
away.
of.
Is it stained, would it like,
Eventually.
okay, would it stain your ink? Like if you put a light, like a yellow or something, it would stain it?
It will turn a little green, so as you're printing,
Consider
we'll,
that, yeah.
we'll get.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
So this will help you visually. You know, this will help you visually to stain your wood on there. Fate stains yours blue.
Yeah.
For that reason. You see where I've
But
already
you don't
cut.
use the carbon paper,
No, that's
right?
new to me.
This is
Yeah.
especially.
How did you do yours?
I, see how it's like blue? I was drawing and it's like blue.
This is especially helpful
did that
if
with,
you're
like,
making
watercolor, or-
Yeah.
surface texture.
Hiroki taught me.
So you can see your texture much
Yeah.
better.
See
So
what you're
right there.
doing. Hey, Hiroki, is Chuck still printing?
No,
Ah.
his
Ukuleles.
is he has too many strings attached.
Where's my quarters?
So that would help you.
So
And
today, when we're using those blocks that you have for the backgrounds, do we make a texture on the
no, I just concentrate on the
Oh,
leaf. and
okay.
stuff.
Form, just
Yeah.
the outline, yeah.
Okay, any more questions? Okay, the the donut shape is, I always pick a gouge that's around the right diameter of the circle, and then go around. Same thing, you're gonna hold it down, go around, and pop it out. So that, so if it's a bigger diameter, I would use a bigger gouge on there. That's the easiest way. So.
So the deal with the Dremel tool is it actually carves away,
It grinds away.
yeah, so no fiber is in that hole to grab ink.
Well, that's the thing. It feathers the wood, right? It's grinding, so
It can hold ink
yeah, right. And your
Not
edges
as
won't be as
crisp.
sharp
with the Dremel,
with the Dremel.
because it's just
I mean, it's
actually-
sharp enough, but not as sharp as a knife
Yeah.
on there. You want to see how that tool works out there?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Let's beat up.